loss of Kobe Bryant, who was killed in a helicopter crash along with his daughter Gianna and 7 others. Kobe's impact went much farther than basketball, as we all know. And in his Hall of Fame speech, Terrell Owens said, quote, "Kobe Bryant, thanks for showing me what passion and love for your craft looks like. I admired you from afar. You set the standard for hard work and dedication. It was amazing to watch." And Terrell Owens is joining us this morning. So good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Your reaction, Terrell, when you heard the devastating news of Kobe's passing?
You said it, just devastating. My day just came to a complete halt. Found myself just staring off into space. I had a few people call me. One of my best friends called me and just said Kobe, and I didn't know what he was talking about. So we have a podcast, and so I'm like, yeah, he's on my list. And I checked my messages again. I had another message, and he goes, "Yo, you didn't hear?" And so I just was dumbfounded. You know, when it sat in the car for about an hour, and I didn't even know I was sitting in the car an hour because it hit me like a ton of bricks, like everybody else.
Go deeper into what he meant to you and inspiration.
Just his relentless pursuit of greatness. You know, I'm a Hall of Famer sitting here today, but when I started out, I had no ambition to play beyond the collegiate level. My love has always been for basketball.
Yeah.
When you talk about the top 3 or basketballs in the world, Kobe's in my top 2. You got Michael Jordan and you got Kobe Bryant. He's probably the best clone to we've ever seen.
Closest, yeah.
The closest clone we've ever seen to Michael Jordan we've ever seen. And so I met him in, I think, 99. Merton Hanks, I was with the Niners, took me to a game at the Forum. And I took a picture with him, and we've been friends ever since.
How was he to you in '99?
Same as he was when I saw him just a year or so ago. His daughter plays, Natalia, his oldest daughter, plays at Sage Hill volleyball, and my daughter was a freshman, and they played against each other. And so I sat in the stands, and we talked a little bit about our daughters. And I think everybody has seen and spoke at volumes at what he's tried to do off the field and post-football with his family, being the best dad he could be for his kid, you know, being removed with basketball so much. And so we talked about that. We talked about, you know, he does the details for ESPN. He talked about bringing me on, probably getting my perspective about, you know, from a receiver standpoint. Those are some of the things that we talked about and we shared.
Teal, you mentioned you're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so am I, and you talk about Kobe, you talk about the passion in which he plays with, but you also understand that, yeah, you can have passion, but you have to have talent. You got to put work in. You know the work that it goes in for practice and the way you take care of your body and the way you eat and the way you prepare and in game. Speak to that and what Kobe and what you saw from Kobe on a nightly basis.
I mean, I created a clothing line, and part of my clothing is desire, dedication, and discipline. When you talk about that relentless pursuit of greatness, that's what Kobe was. You've heard all the stories of him getting up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't that anal. I wanted to be great, but like I said, that wasn't. He wanted to be the best version of himself outside of Michael Jordan.
Right.
He had that blueprint. When you talk about dedication, when you talk about that desire, you talk about discipline, he embodies all of that. I think everybody knows the competitor that he was. It showed on a nightly basis.
Right.
When you talk about the greatest to ever play the game, and there's always this debate, you know, between LeBron and Kobe and Michael Jordan. When you talk about Michael Jordan and Kobe, it's almost identical.
Right.
That's what separates those two from anybody else, because they had that night in and night out. It wasn't like you see guys today, it's almost like a celebrity game.
Right.
During the course of the game, they see fans, they're interacting. You never saw that with Michael. You never saw that with Kobe.
So I hear kids today talk about, I work hard. I am sitting across from 2 guys who worked extremely, excessively hard to become who they were. You were a 7th round draft choice, and you were a, help me out, third round, but nobody, I wasn't sure you'd go that high the 49ers saw something a lot of teams didn't and blessed you and said, it's George Stewart was your receiver coach, and just said, you can be this guy, but you're going to have to work at it. And I was around you enough in San Francisco, excessive, extreme practice habits. And it's hard to translate this, but I was around Jordan a lot and not so much Kobe, but I heard about him from so many people. The work ethic is almost indescribable, because I always called Jordan, along with Kobe, they were extremely talented overachievers. They had gifts that maybe you two, I don't know, you had a lot of, both of you had gifts, but again, your gifts weren't seen for a while. Right. You had to make them happen at the highest level with extreme dedication. That's hard for kids today, I think, to comprehend. It's every day, relentlessly, and I've watched both of you enough to know, I think it's like a spillover effect. The Jordan, Kobe, they set a tone that your era followed in inspiration.
Yeah, I think for me, as I said, I never thought I would play beyond the collegiate level. And I had to become who I became. And, you know, I didn't have any football heroes. Before I met Jerry or Steve Young, any of the Niners, Michael Jordan was that barometer of success that I wanted to reach, whether it was in basketball or whatever it was that I encountered. So for me, I just wanted to be the best that I could be, and I had a lot of guys, especially coaches, that encouraged me along the way. You mentioned George Stewart, but before George Stewart, there was Larry Kirksey, who coached Jerry Rice, the greatest of all time. And so these guys, as you said, they saw something in me when they drafted me. I was looked at as the prototype around that time when late 90s, that was when you had the tall, lanky, long receivers with speed or what have you, hands.
Run out for catch.
Yeah, exactly.
In the West Coast, that's what you needed.
Exactly. And so I embodied what I was taught, the tradition of what the West Coast offense was about. Quick passes, short, taking it the distance. There had to be a lot of refining with my skills early on before I became T.O., before I became that guy that, and in some ways you look at, and we talk about Kobe, I've been a game changer. You talk about Michael Jordan. Before I could even see myself in that realm or speak on that, there was a lot of refining to my skill set to where, like I said, I felt like I was a game changer in a number of ways.
For me, and maybe you can relate to this also, I felt coming out as a 7th round pick, there was no expectations, so I got a chance to grow. You leave high school and go straight to the NBA, you better be that. Because you said you were better than Michael Jordan, so you came in. Michael Jordan was the 3rd overall pick, Skip, so he hit the shot. So there was expectations. You go high in the draft, there's expectation. T.O., you being a 3rd round, me being a 7th round pick, the 192nd pick overall, there was no expectations other than what I had on myself, but there was no external pressure on me. So I got an opportunity to sit back in the background. There was some because I was Sterling's little brother. Well, he was an all-pro, thought of as one of the best receivers in the game, Skip. So people had that, well, if his brother could do that, that's his brother, he should be able to do it also. But when you talk about Kobe, but the thing is, Skip, is that the easiest thing I tell guys all the time to come into the NFL, the easiest thing you'll ever do is make the Pro Bowl, but make it again when they know what you can do. When they know you for real legit, and D coordinators go into the game and say, hey, we can't let 81 beat us. We can't let 84 beat us. Then can you do it again? Because we've seen a lot of guys be good once, but can you be good over and over? That's why you got to give the kudos to Brady. Because year after year, he's Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Kobe. You know what Kobe was. You don't think they tried to get the ball out of Kobe's hand? You didn't think they tried to get the ball out of Jordan's hand? But to do it over and over. To become great, I'm a firm believer in this. The greater the player, the more selfish the player has to be. Because you have to be willing to sacrifice a lot. Because you're going to spend a lot of time alone with your own thoughts. Training alone, doing things alone. You're going to miss a lot of things that a lot of people not willing to do. Yep. But you look at the great players, and every last one of them will tell you they've been selfish.
So, Terrell, I always thought from the start, in your heart of hearts, if you could have snapped your fingers, you would have preferred to be Kobe Bryant instead of Jerry Rice. In your heart of hearts, it would have made you happier to be that guy in basketball than this guy in football.
Absolutely. I mean, basketball is my first love. Anybody that knows me, that's my passion.
And because both of you played what we call a dependent position where you cannot dictate whether the ball is coming to you or not.
Right.
It might or it might not. It might not be your fault it doesn't come to you for whatever reason. The quarterback doesn't see you.
Right.
You're getting triple covered or whatever. And so you're going to go through games where I didn't get the football in my hands. Well, Kobe... He's going to get the rock, right?
Yeah, that's the thing about a basketball player. You can dictate what you do with the basketball because you have it at, going up and down the court at will. For me, I felt like I was a basketball player playing football. And so the light bulb came on for me when my coach, and that's just a sign of a good coach, Coach Kirksey, I was struggling. I didn't play a lot of Division I school, so like I said, I had a lot of refining, to do with my skills. So it was tough every day, training camp, season, going against bump and run, one-on-one. And so he pulled me to the side because I was struggling. And he pulled me, he said, "Don't you like basketball?" He said, "Do you consider yourself a basketball player?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "I see you struggling." He said, "Treat the defender like you're playing one-on-one to get Bryant." And when he said that, the light bulb clicked, and T.O. came.
Wow. Yeah. That's so. We are going to continue to honor the life of Kobe all day and celebrate his career as we process what happened. We're so glad you're here, Terrell, to talk about him. And I would like you to stick around because we have some football to talk about. Sure. And trust me, we got a lot of places to go with that.